see you on Thursday.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I've been getting a lot of sleep all prep, but just last night specifically, I did not get a lot of sleep. My girls were waking me up. They weren't feeling too good. 2 of them were throwing up. I was like, oh. So then I only got like 5 hours of sleep, so I'm super dragging this morning. But it doesn't really matter because I'm on deload all week. Well, actually, it's almost like a restart. Now that I'm done with my bodybuilding show, I'm starting off with 50% of what I normally do, and then just gonna build up twice a week for the next few weeks until I'm back up to 100% and beyond. Whew. Alright guys, so here we are, 4 days post Ben Weider Natural IFBB Pro show. It was a great experience. I came in how dialed in I wanted to look as far as body fat. To be honest, you know, I get a lot of people asking me like, you know, how was the show? How was everything? My personal kind of attitude towards the competition is going to be probably just the journey to get there. I spent 9 months prepping for this show, which, you know, growing up, it used to be just stapled as 12 weeks, 12, 14 weeks. But like, no matter how much over your contest weight you are, you're gonna be 12-week diet. So it's always been a staple for me to hit new PRs as I'm climbing into the show as far as like my leg development and my leg strength, because I mean, obviously, why wouldn't I? I'm adding more weight stimulus load onto my lower limbs. It's not gonna have any choice but to adapt to the extra load stimulus. You know, I know on social media, sometimes I would say the bodybuilding extremists would probably say Eric's not professional. Like, how can he be going out? How can he be partying? How can he be drinking like a sailor every week? And to be honest, I kind of look at it like college. You're getting ready for your finals. You procrastinate like most people do, and they just flood those books. They, in a sense, act hardcore. They're like, I can't go out. No, I can't do this. I have to study. I have to cram all this stuff in for the test. I got to make sure I pass. And in what they believe is a valiant way, they kind of pat themselves on the back saying, hey, you know what? I did all that. I studied so hard for like 12 days straight, and I ended up with a B+. Your B+ is great, but the honest truth is, on a competition stage, a B+ is not an A. It's not an A+. So when a lot of these competitors, they do 16-week diets, even 20-week diet, 12-week diet, they deem themselves hardcore because they're like, I eat clean, I don't go out, I don't drink, I measure everything on the gram. I track everything. Or if they really eat clean, they don't do processed foods or whatever they're doing. So they deem that as the professional way, and that I'm hardcore. But me, I look at it as, you know, if this was school, if you just put in the effort to do the work every week, then you wouldn't have to scramble at the very end, and you'll actually end with an A plus with some bonus points. So that's how I like to enter a competition. You know, I don't really track my carbs and my fats per se too much. I just mainly just make sure I hit my calorie budget, make sure I'm getting enough protein in. And I like to, whenever I start my diet, James Krieger and he's my second pair of eyes whenever I'm trying to create my calories and whenever I'm trying to put on more weighted apparel. Sometimes I'll run things by him and say, hey, what do you think? And he usually always gives me the green light, because like I said, you know, we're both coaches, but just like boxers, you know, Mayweather still has a coach. So it's just somebody, second pair of eyes to kind of agree, change, or disagree, whatever path you're going with your own diet. I obviously know that I know my body very well. So for me, it was the entire journey that I like to do. And just like I had said a few videos ago, I'm not trying to win first place. I understand this is an IFBB Pro competition. We no longer have weight classes, so I'm not just in a bantamweight where I used to do USAs. Now I'm in the open, so yes, I understand I'm probably gonna be the smallest guy. So I don't care if I get 8th place, 12th place, 14th place out of 14 people. I want to out-lean the number one guy. And to me, that's a win. Not only is that a win, but just the grind in general. When it comes to me boxing, when it comes to me getting on stage, I want to outwork not only my previous self, but I want to outwork a little bit of the pain of what the other competitors are enduring for their show. If a guy beats me just based off of pure size, but then he looks at me and he says, man, I beat him based off of size and symmetry, but damn, he suffered a bit more than me. He worked a little bit harder than me to get to those ripped glutes. That, in my way, is how I always want to win. It's a self-win. Now, just so happened at this show, I happened to win. So that was great. You may not see this on the video that we're going to share at the end of the video of my actual routine and a few pictures. But by the time I was up there, I was pretty much done. I didn't really practice posing. Last time I really practiced posing was 2 years ago whenever I did the same show. So to me, the whole getting there was my whole experience. Once I'm there, do my thing. You know, there are some things that I do to try to get. What I do is I start tanning on a tanning bed, and then I purchase on my own through Amazon the Pro Tan Base Tan and Pro Tan Top Coat. Before I even leave to either Vegas or now Washington DC, where I've competed last 2 shows, I put on a base tan before I even, probably like the day before I even leave. Let it sit overnight, take a shower. Whenever I land, I let them do their base tan over an already stained base tan of mine. Now after that, I go to sleep, I wake up, I shower it off, and while I'm in the hotel room, I get the top coat, and I put the top coat all over my whole body. Once I cover my whole body with the top coat, I go downstairs and let them apply their top coat, and then I tell them that they can do the top coat twice. I always go with the $20 bill just in case, you know, I'm like, hey, you know, I'll pay for the extra coat. So that's 3 top coats over my 2 base coats over me tanning a few times in a tanning bed. You need to be dark. You need to, because when those lights hit, it's going to lighten you up. And that's what's going to really show the adductor muscles, the glute muscles, the insertion of the biceps or forearms. That's what's really going to stand out and pop. So it's small things like that that I try to get a little advantage whenever I'm competing. I get complimented and praised everywhere I go by competitors, which really feels humbling as far as the work I put in, as far as like, man, you really came in lean. You really came in lean. I really enjoy and appreciate those comments coming from other competitors, even other competitors that I deem that are so lean and ripped when I see them on social media. But you know, when we're face to face, when we're pumping up in the back, it shows that extra little difference of how lean I'm willing to go, and it could be many factors of why another competitor is not quite as lean. You know, as snail pace as I did this show, I know when to punch the gas, and I usually do that starting at about 4 weeks out, pushing harder 2 weeks out, and then when I'm about 7 to 10 days out, I go full throttle. To be sure, then afterwards, I give my body a full 5 to 6 days relaxing to not let cortisol sit in, because that will happen with as much energy as I'm expending. Even if I didn't win, knowing that I came in really lean, really ripped, leaner than most competitors that were there, getting praised by more influential natural bodybuilders that were there, celebrity natural bodybuilders that were there, that to me is already the win. I know other competitors weren't walking around with 75 pounds of total body weighted apparel on their body. They weren't doing that for 2 hours on the treadmill, 120 minutes of the day. They weren't doing a push Saturday. When I say push Saturday, I mean effort push, energy exertion push. So pushing means I was doing 35 to 40,000 steps that day. It means I was doing a 75-minute jog that day. The days leading after that, I was swimming some laps. Okay, I was doing 20 laps in the pool. I was boxing every day. So people weren't boxing. They weren't doing the Saturday 40K push. They weren't having that one single day to relax and recover. They weren't doing the jogs. I mean, the bodybuilders don't jog. They don't box. They don't swim laps. But these are the things that I was willing to do to get me to a certain leanness. And I knew when to push the gas, of having all that 9 months to prepare to set me up for acceleration at the end. And so that's what got me there. That's what I love about bodybuilding. Me being on stage, that doesn't do it for me that much. I'm just ready to display what I got and be done. Now, the cool thing about the show is this is the first show where bodybuilding is done at 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's at 8:30 and it ends at 10:30. As soon as we're done with prejudging, they say, all right guys, we're gonna be all about 15 minutes and we're gonna come out for finals. And I'm like, that's so amazing, so amazing. If there was one thing I was a little exhausted about, and I mean, this is not bad, but one thing I was a little exhausted about is when they said, all right, our guys are gonna be out in just a little while, go ahead and start pumping up. Started pumping up for 10 minutes, and that's about as much as you want to pump up. Pumped up for 10 minutes, and then I overheard them say, oh, it's gonna be about another 20 minutes. I was like, oh, okay. So pumped up for another 20 minutes, and then I heard them say, okay, 10 more minutes for sure. And so I was like, oh my goodness. All right, so now I pretty much did like a workout for about 35 minutes, which was really tiring, really exhausting. But then I got on stage and I was still pumped up, so I did good. Afterwards, we celebrated at Cheesecake Factory. I wasn't really that food focused, as I'm still not that food focused. I was really beer focused, so I got my IPAs. We had an amazing weekend, and so that leads until today, or I'm sorry, yesterday. Where do we go from here? Well, my calories are still at 2,700 calories, and I'm taking off a lot of weighted apparel, and I'm not doing energy exertion as much as I was doing. No more swimming laps. So I should be good. That should be putting me just at about maintenance. And so now was probably either my retirement show. I'll reassess in 3 years. I'm gonna actually give myself 40 months of an off season, which I've never done before. We'll make some more videos to see where I'm at in a couple months, to see how the weight is going. But again, not food focused, as I've always been eating 2,700 calories pretty much all year now. So can't wait to see what else is next to come. Deloading, well, resetting, like I said earlier. And so we'll just see where we go from here. But it was a great experience. Got some cool gear. Ready to see what we can do, see what we can lift from here and grow some more quality muscle. So thank you for being on my journey. As always, peace out, Cub Scout.